Right now, the conclave to select a new pope begins today. What to expect as this historic process gets underway. Plus, how much does it cost to raise a child? Our Affording Atlanta series looks at why parents are struggling and see how much you should expect gas to go up for your summer road trips. This is The Take. Let's get it. Hello and welcome to The Take. I'm Jesse McNeil. This is where we go above and beyond the headlines and we look at the why and how stories are impacting you and your community. We invite the experts in to share their take as well on today's top stories, and we try to have just a little bit of fun as well. Let's get to our top story today. The conclave to select the new pope begins today. More than 130 Catholic cardinals are coming together from all over the world to take part in this highly secretive process. This is the largest conclave to ever take place. The cardinals will be barred from leaving or having any contact with the outside world, and they will vote until they choose a successor to Pope Francis. Joining us now is Father Roy Lee with the Catholic Archdiocese in Atlanta right here. Good morning, Father Lee.
Good morning to you. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Let's talk about it now. Let's talk about the significance of this moment for the Catholic Church and for the world.
Sure. These are exciting moments, as you well know. As you just mentioned, they are in conclave. And at this moment, we have, I think it's 133 cardinals that will be voting at this time. And we have 10 American cardinals who will be part of the voting process. We have our first African-American cardinal, who was our Archbishop in Atlanta, Welton Gregory, who is now a cardinal. He will be among those cardinals who will be putting in his vote for our 267th Pope since St. Peter. So these are exciting times.
Very exciting times. We saw saw Pope Francis as a progressive, even calling him the people's pope. How do you think his legacy will influence the church for the next pope?
Well, I think there will be a continuation. I think there were things, of course, he, as one man, couldn't solve all of the challenges. He is a symbol of unity for the church. And of course, this new pope will have his plate full in terms of the many issues, challenges, and concerns in the church today. There are a litany of things dealing with, the women's position in the church, the LGBTQ plus community, dealing with the whole financial challenge at the Vatican itself, dealing with the liberals, conservatives, the vernacular versus the Latin Mass. So there's a slew of things when you think about it, that this man is going to embark upon a task that's going to be monumental.
Yeah, you mentioned the first African-American cardinal. We talk about Gregory, who served here in Atlanta for 14 years. What do you think he's going to bring to the discussion?
Well, I think he's going to bring not only the American issues and concerns. Wilton has traveled the world, so he's had the chance and opportunity to listen to the various voices throughout the world. And I think he really understands what the issues and concerns, not only in America, but the world today. Yeah. So I think he's going to bring all of that to the table. Yes.
Gotcha. You personally, what would you like to see in the new leader of the church?
Well, it's really, it's very difficult because we never thought Pope Francis would be the one at the time. And I don't have a particular. I just know that the Holy Spirit has already chosen the Pope, and the cardinals are now in conclave to figure out what is the Holy Spirit saying. And so right now, we're looking for a man who's going to be able to unify not only the church itself, but bring some interfaith, ecumenism, bringing people from different perspectives of the world together, so that we can not only dialogue together, but we can work together for justice, peace, love, equality, all those wonderful attributes that reflect who God is. That's his role. Yeah. He is a symbol and a sign of unity for us. And so he's got that task, and hopefully we can work with him with that task.
Lastly, your thoughts on whether this will be a long decision, or you think this will be quick? They'll set up that white spot quick.
Looking at the history, that's a good question. Looking at the history of the last several popes, it looks like statistically, it looks like they were able to decide in like a couple days, like 3 days or so. And it looks like the word is out saying it's going to be a short decision. And we'll see. But looking at, as I said before, the last several popes, it looks like it's not going to be a very long process.
Yeah.
So we pray that in the next week or so, we're going to be sitting here again, talking about the new man and looking at his background and looking at his vision and understanding where he's going to take us.
Right. Well, certainly we'll invite you on and get your thoughts on the new Pope as well. If it takes place, whether it's a short one or if it's a long one, we'll have you on. All right?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Father Lee. Appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, take care.
God bless.
All right. A lot of young kids are learning about this historic moment. One Atlanta Catholic school decided to give students a first-hand experience. Second graders at Pinecrest Academy held their own mock conclave this week, and they selected Pope David. There he is right there. After some blessings and took a ride in the Pope Mobile, his duties were done for the day. Look at him go. That's something right there. Another big story that we're watching for today. The federal government will start enforcing its Real ID law today. It's a big change that has been taking, or it's been years in the process. Atlanta's airport says it is ready. Starting today, any passenger who's 18 years or older must have a Real ID driver's license and present that to security. A passport will also work. Hartsfield-Jackson is going to have more customer service staff set up today to help their travelers. Here's what the head of the TSA had to say about the change.
We are going to process you. It might take some additional time, but we're going to do it efficiently. We are fully staffed at all locations across the country, so I don't anticipate any wait times or delays as far as you're going through the security process, but we will process you, will not be turned away.
That's good news right here in Georgia. Shout out to Georgia. 99% of the people here in the state already have a Real ID compliant license. Isn't that something? That's great. A lot of travelers here, right? Let's take a look at our forecast for today. You may not want to travel anywhere, at least for this morning. Not yet, until this rain gets out of the way. That rain has been steady and with us all morning long. I think it becomes more isolated as we head into the afternoon. Because of the cloud cover and the rain, temperatures will be a little bit lower this afternoon. We're looking at 72 degrees for the afternoon high. 79 by the time we get to Thursday. Got a 40% chance for some thunderstorms to be around. Some of those thunderstorms could be on the strong side, something we're watching for. If so, I think it'll be late afternoon and heading into the evening. 78 degrees on Friday. We'll go down to a 20 to 30% chance for an isolated shower. Then the threat for rain goes up again as we head into the weekend. Right now, 50% chance on Saturday. Sunday is a 40% chance for that rain. Temperatures will be in the low 70s. We'll get some sunshine coming back in here by Monday, Tuesday of next week with scattered thunderstorms mainly during the afternoons. Hey, don't go anywhere, folks. We got much more show coming to you right after the break. All right, welcome back to the show. After weeks of trading jabs, President Trump and had his first face-to-face meeting with Canada's Prime Minister on Tuesday. It was filled with mixed messages on trade, but the Prime Minister was clear on the U.S. annexing Canada. There won't be a sale. Joining us now is NBC Washington correspondent Alice Barr, who's been covering politics for years now. Alice, talk to us about the meeting between President Trump and the Canadian Prime Minister. How did things turn out?
Hi there, Chesley. Yeah, it was an interesting one to watch. You know, as you noted, it was kind of a mix of banter and barbs, and there was a lot of, warm feeling between the two men. But under the surface, there are clearly some serious issues to be worked out. And Prime Minister Mark Carney just recently won victory, his election in Canada, in large part based off of his promises to stand up to President Trump over this tariff feud that's been ongoing. And so he walked into the Oval Office knowing that he was going to have to talk tough to a degree and stand up to the president where he needed to. And that certainly happened when President Trump brought up again, or responded to at least, the question about whether the U.S. should annex Canada, whether Canada should become the 51st state. And President Trump said that it's something that he is serious about and he really thinks should happen. And then Prime Minister Carney very clearly said there are some things that are never for sale and Canada is never, ever for sale. So that was interesting to observe. But there were other moments when they spoke about strengthening the relationship. And, I think we spoke yesterday about how Prime Minister Carney has the advantage of going into the Oval Office, having seen a couple of other meetings between President Trump and some other foreign leaders, including Ukraine's president, that did not go well. And then others like the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who chose his moments to stand up to President Trump, similarly to how Mark Carney did, but also had a very kind of jovial attitude as well, which certainly President Trump is going to respond better to.
All right. Tariffs on China are still in place. Are we seeing any of those impacts here in the United States yet?
We are. And I should note, there is no sign yet of a trade deal with Canada, even after that sort of warm meeting yesterday. China, though, is especially pressing because of these 145% tariffs that the U.S. has imposed on imports from China, and that's a big deal. And we did just see, we just heard from the executive director of the Port of Los Angeles, who said that as of this week, the number of cargo ships coming in from China is down by more than a third. And he is warning that consumers could start seeing product shortages and more widespread increases in prices in about 5 to 7 weeks as companies run through their stockpiles, and then some of them are just not restocking on what they would normally bring in imports from China because the fees are just so really untenable at this point. So there's going to be a discussion beginning on Friday between U.S. officials, including Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, leading a delegation of trade officials to meet with their Chinese counterparts in Switzerland. That's beginning on Friday. And Treasury Secretary Bessent said he doesn't think this is going to be about the big trade deal at this point, but it's going to be about de-escalation in order to move forward and get to that point.
Gotcha. All right, Alice, thanks for staying on top of it for us. Really appreciate you. All right,
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You know, I cannot even dream about somebody alleging me for doing this kind of thing. Forget about me dreaming to do this. So it was a shocker. In fact, I didn't even realize why they were arresting me in the first place.
That was Mahindra Patel speaking to reporters for the first time after being released from jail Tuesday. He's facing charges after police say he tried to kidnap a child at Walmart in Acworth. But the case drawing national attention following the release of surveillance video from inside the store. On March 18th, a woman accused him of trying to take her child from her lap. But his defense team says that he went into the Walmart looking for Tylenol and asked the woman for help. You can see him leaving the store after he says he thanked her. A judge granted him a $10,000 bond yesterday. The Cobb County District Attorney says the decision does not reflect on the judge's option about the guilt or innocence of the defendant. Patel's attorney says she's trying to get his charges dropped. All right, as we get ready to honor moms, it's the big time weekend, right? Many families are weighing the option of the cost to raise a child in today's economy. From daycare to diapers, the financial burden on parents is reaching all new heights. Our Jonathan Martin joins us now with a closer look as part of our Affording Atlanta series. Jonathan, welcome back to the show.
Hey, always good to be here with you this morning, Chesley.
All right, let's talk about it, man. How much of an increase are we talking about? How much does it cost to raise a child these days?
All right, well, let me tell you, first of all, a disclaimer, I am not a parent, but you know, these numbers did seem pretty high to me. In this year, 2025, it costs $19,000 or more in Georgia to raise a child, a small child. When you look over the course of 18 years, that number is all the way up, Chesley, to $200,000 over 18 years. That doesn't even include college. And if that number seems high, it is pretty high. It's gone up about 14% in just the last 2 years. So a lot of people are feeling the numbers, they are feeling the cost right now.
Man, that's pretty high. Now, all my kids are grown, so you know I'm thinking about this like, whoa, it never cost me that much. What would you say the biggest expenses are for parents?
Well, you probably know this, Chesley, raising young kids at one point that, you know, it's the food, it's the clothing, but perhaps the biggest expense we're hearing from most parents is childcare. We've done a number of stories here at 11Alive about these soaring costs of childcare, and a lot of parents say that is their biggest expense, especially if you have more than one child, making sure they have the childcare that they need. And a lot of parents say it really, really is making their finances really tight.
Wow. You got a chance to speak to several mothers, right? How are they saying that they're making it work?
Well, they're doing it in different ways. We spoke to a couple mothers. One told me that she's really getting serious about a budget, not making those last minute stops at Chick-fil-A. Hey, we're eating at home, no more eating out. Another mother tells me that she is really having to sit down with her daughter and make some serious choices about extracurricular activities. We no longer can do ballet and piano and gymnastics. We're having to choose one now, and really, like we said, just getting serious about the budget.
Wow. What advice did experts have for parents who are overwhelmed financially?
First of all, as I kind of alluded to, the budget is the big thing. Looking at where every dollar you're spending is going and also anticipating some of the costs. Of course, it's graduation season. We just got finished with prom season. So if you know you're going to have an extra expense for your child, budget for that, knowing that it may come up. Also, pay down debt so you can have more disposable income to spend on those things that you need and some of those things that your kids may want. And also, Chesley, a big thing is to look for help out there, not just government assistance, but we in our story profiled a group called Hope Inc. They are a nonprofit here in the city of Atlanta, specifically working with single mothers who are pursuing a college degree. That group offers assistance with housing, with food, with childcare. So a lot of times it's just about looking at the help that's out there to see if they can help you meet the needs, because it is really tight for a lot of parents right now.
Wow, you know, that proverb of it takes a village to raise a child is ringing true today.
Oh, certainly, certainly. And sometimes, you know, even things, you know, getting secondhand toys, getting secondhand cribs or bassinets, things like that, you know, calling your friends. It's a time where, you know, every dollar really counts for a lot of people.
Yeah, I hear your phone ringing. Uncle Jonathan?
You know, I have a brother and I try to do what I can.
Got it, Jonathan, thanks so much. We're going to watch your full story tonight at 11 o'clock right here on 11Alive Plus. Jonathan, appreciate your report. All right, plenty more stories for you coming up, folks. This is The Take, and this is 11Alive Plus. We'll be back right after this. All right, welcome back to the show. AAA's new report shows that Georgia residents aren't letting the economy slow them down from their summer travel plans this year. 58% of Georgians plan to take a summer trip. That's up just 1% from last year, despite the economic climate. The survey also shows 39% of Georgia residents plan to travel a little more, while 22% say they're going to take fewer trips. That's mostly due to the economic concerns. And where do people plan on going? Well, AAA says that 55% plan to hit the beach, right? That's where you want to go, get some rest and relaxation. If you're driving to your destination, here's something that's going to impact you. Oil prices are down to their lowest levels in years. That means gas is pretty cheap right now. That's good. Here to talk more about it is Patrick DeHaan of Gas Buddy. Welcome to the show, Patrick.
Morning, Chesley. Thanks for having me.
All right. How low are these oil prices?
Well, as you mentioned, slipping below $60 a barrel for the first time since the pandemic. All of this really part and parcel because OPEC has suddenly ratcheted up production in a surprising way. In fact, for the month of June, they're increasing production another 400,000 barrels a day against the backdrop of economic uncertainty. All of that has pushed oil prices down. As you mentioned, gas prices also down considerably. In fact, the average stay in Atlanta just $2.89 a gallon. That's 55 cents a gallon lower than last year. So to your point, those heading to the beach are not going to be spending as much to fill their tanks. That's a theme that we can expect to continue for much of this summer.
Nice. Now, you already mentioned that we're below $3 a gallon. Is that the case nationwide as we travel to different places?
Well, the national average just a little bit higher. Georgia tends to be a little bit below the national average, but it is possible that in the weeks ahead, the national average could also join the sub $3 club. For now, it stands at about $3.11 a gallon. 26 states where you can find average prices below $3. I do think the number of states below $3 will likely grow in the weeks ahead. The one thing holding gas prices up right now is the fact that refineries are still finishing maintenance and inventories of gasoline have been declining. Once that maintenance gets done, I do expect potentially even more gas price declines over the summer.
Yeah. Now, we said that typically the summer blend for us is the highest, right? Rather than the winter blend. The summer blend is a little bit higher, right?
Yeah, that's right. And typically right around March and April is when we see a peak in price. It's not usually in the summer, so it's already potential that we've already peaked for the year. Now, of course, there's economic developments that we'll have to keep an eye on, but usually maximum pressure on gas prices doesn't occur in the summer. But as that transition to summer gasoline is now done, it's usually culminates with the transition, rising demand, and refinery maintenance, which is now moving beyond its time.
So if we hit our peak, we can expect it to stay pretty steady, I'm hoping, right? Is it always like a catastrophe that causes it to rise unexpectedly?
Well, it certainly can be. Now, OPEC, if they reverse course suddenly in the months ahead, which would be unusual, that could cause prices to go up. But the other thing we'll be watching for come the summer is hurricane season. Of course, hurricanes can make a big impact on refineries. And if there aren't refineries producing and refining oil, there's going to be less gasoline, and that could send gas prices up. So we'll watch for that all summer long.
Hate to bring politics into it, but is there any way politics can play a role on it?
Well, certainly. One of the reasons I mentioned that gas prices are lower is because of the economic uncertainty brought on by some of the tariffs and trade wars that are developing now. Now, if those tend to ease without the tariffs being implemented, it could actually mean higher gas prices because there would be more hope for the economy to grow if there are no tariffs. If the tariffs are ratcheted up, it could mean an economic slowdown, which could mean lower gas prices.
All right. So, yeah, if you're planning that trip, now is a good time to kind of plan it out, I guess, right? Hopefully things will stay nice and steady, right? That's what you said.
Hopefully things will stay nice and steady. I think it's going to be the cheapest summer, though, since 2021. So all in all, not a bad year to hit the road.
And that is a good sign. I mean, nobody's really expecting that, especially as we're hearing about prices on other things really rising. To hear the gas would stay steady is a good thing. Patrick, really appreciate that.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Have a good day. All right, folks, don't go anywhere. Back with my final take when we return. All right, sogginess. Yes, the rain has come back to us, unfortunately, folks. And it looks like it's going to be around for a little while. Today, at least, we're looking at isolated showers. Not much in the way of thunderstorms. I think we had one clap of thunder so far this morning, but that was it. We'll see those showers last at least through about noon, and I think it just becomes cloudy as we head through the rest of the afternoon. Maybe a break or two in those clouds. Right now, I'm saying 72 degrees, but if we get some breaks, that could up that temperature a little bit. Certainly, we'll get more sunshine tomorrow, especially tomorrow afternoon. We may start off with clouds, but tomorrow afternoon, I'm expecting the sunshine to break out before thunderstorms roll in. 79 degrees as a result of that sun. 78 on Friday, a little bit lower chance for the rain to be around. We're down to a 20 or 30% chance. And then over the weekend, it goes back up, unfortunately. You have weekend plans, folks? Well, noted it will be on the soggy side. For now, we got a 50% chance for the rain on Saturday. Sunday, we're looking at a 40% chance for those scattered showers to be around. The temperatures will be lower thanks to the cloud cover and the rain. A little bit more sunshine will break out as we head into the work week next week. Still got that 50% chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms during the afternoon on Monday and Tuesday, and the temperature finally starts to creep back up. All right, before we go, let me give you my final take. Not surprising that there would be some areas in the South, rural areas, that don't have the big amenities like big cities do. One town in Mississippi is looking to change that by capitalizing off of a hit movie, Sinners. Have you seen it? Featuring actor Michael B. Jordan. It's a hit. Currently in the theaters. That movie is set in Clarksdale, Mississippi. None of the filming was done there, nor does the town have an active theater. But that's not stopping city officials from trying to capitalize, get a little recognition off their home place there. City leaders of roughly 14,000 residents there are in preliminary talks with the movie studio to have a screening there. Part of the issue, again, is that they don't have a theater in Clarksdale. Activists there penned a letter to the director of the movie, Ryan Coogler, and also the cast to come on down and spend some time in the city, get to know the city a little bit about which the movie was taking place, right? There hasn't been any word from the actors or the movie whether or not they'll do it. But big shout out to the folks of Clarksdale trying to capitalize on an opportunity to expand their hometown. You know, who knows? Clarksdale could be a stop for tourists pretty soon here, folks that want to get a little bit closer to Michael B. Jordan and this incredible cast that they did this great movie there in Clarksdale. They also have a juke joint there with part owner by Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman. So another reason to go to Clarksdale. Hey, that's all we got for you today. Be sure to encourage someone and make it a great one. Dodge some of those raindrops, folks.